Tell me something honestly. How many dreams have you delayed with one simple sentence? I'll start tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow when you have more time. Tomorrow when things are easier. Tomorrow when you feel ready. But tomorrow has a strange habit. It never arrives. Today, I want to tell you a story. A simple story about a man who spent most of his life waiting for the perfect moment, until one day he realized that moment was never coming, and everything changed. In a quiet town surrounded by hills and long empty roads lived a young man named Daniel. Daniel had big dreams. He wanted to start his own business. He wanted to get in shape. He wanted to write a book one day. But Daniel also had something else: excuses. Every morning he woke up with plans. Today I'll start exercising. But the bed felt warm, the phone felt interesting, and the clock moved fast. Maybe tomorrow, he would say. At work, he watched successful people online, people starting companies, people traveling the world, people building incredible lives. Daniel would shake his head and say, "Must be nice to have that kind of luck." But deep down, he knew something. It wasn't luck, it was discipline. Still, every evening, Daniel came home tired, too tired to start, too tired to change, too tired to try. And so the days passed, weeks passed. Then, one afternoon, something small happened, something so ordinary most people would forget it. But for Daniel, it became the moment that changed everything. He was sitting on a park bench, scrolling through his phone, complaining quietly about life, about work, about how nothing ever seemed to move forward. An old man sat beside him. He listened for a moment, and then asked a simple question. "Do you know what the heaviest thing in the world is?" Daniel shrugged. "A mountain?" The old man smiled. "No. The heaviest thing in the world is an excuse." Daniel laughed. "That doesn't make sense." The old man picked up a small stone from the ground and placed it in Daniel's hand. "This stone is small," he said, "but carry one every day for 10 years and you will feel its weight." He paused. Excuses work the same way. One excuse feels small. I'm tired. I'm busy. I'll start tomorrow. But carry them every day, and eventually they become too heavy to move your life forward. Daniel sat quietly, because for the first time, someone had said out loud what he already knew inside. The old man stood up and brushed the dust from his jacket. "Let me give you a challenge," he said. "For the next 24 hours, don't allow yourself a single excuse. If something needs to be done, do it. No delays, no tomorrow, just action." Daniel nodded politely, but he didn't think much about it until the next morning. The alarm rang at 6 a.m. His mind immediately said, "You're tired, sleep another hour." Then he remembered the old man's words. The heaviest thing in the world is an excuse. Daniel sat up, slowly, reluctantly, but he sat up. That morning he went for a short run, only 10 minutes. It wasn't impressive, but it was different. Later that day he opened a notebook. For years he had talked about writing a book. That afternoon he wrote 1 page, just one. But again, something was different. That evening, he spent 1 hour learning about the business he had always dreamed of starting. 1 hour. Not perfect, not amazing, just progress. And when Daniel went to sleep that night, he noticed something strange. He felt lighter. Not physically, mentally. Because for the first time in years, he had carried no excuses that day. The next morning, he tried again. And again. Some days were messy. Some days he wanted to quit. But every time an excuse appeared in his mind, he asked himself one question. Is this real or just comfortable? Most of the time, it was comfortable. Months passed. Daniel kept running. 10 minutes became 20. 20 became 30. He kept writing. 1 page became 5. 5 became chapters. He kept learning. Ideas slowly turned into plans. Plans turned into action. And something else happened too. Confidence. Not loud confidence, not the kind people show online. Quiet confidence, the kind that grows when you keep promises to yourself. 1 year later, Daniel looked around his life and barely recognized it. He was healthier, stronger, his book was finished, and the small business he once only talked about was now real. But the biggest change wasn't outside, it was inside. Because Daniel finally understood something powerful. Success is rarely about talent, rarely about luck. Most of the time, it's simply about removing excuses, one decision at a time, one action at a time, one day at a time. And the day Daniel stopped making excuses was the day his life finally started moving forward. So before you leave this video, ask yourself one honest question. What excuse have you been carrying for years? I'm too busy. I'm not ready. I'll start tomorrow. Maybe today is the day you finally put that excuse down. Because the life you want is not waiting for perfect conditions. It's waiting for action. And the moment you stop making excuses, everything begins to change.